PEP Radio is a part of the Pennsylvania Equality Project that plays music, news, and weather, actively advocating for the LGBTQ+ and disabled since 2024.
PEP Radio, available on Live 365, Roku, Alexa, and at paquality.com.
Here at Gay SA Radio, we're very happy to welcome the Othering podcast to our airwaves. Catch the show every Thursday at noon CAT, bringing fresh voices and compelling conversations straight to you.
Head over to gsaradio.stream to find out how you can tune in and become part of our family. Don't miss it, only on Gay SA Radio, where you are family.
Gay Hive Magazine, all about the buzz of content for our community. Our content is like no other. It's all about being real, honest, and raw.
We're always looking for new reoccurring content for the magazine and regular content writers for our website. Gay Hive is currently seeking sponsors. Email hushmagazine001@gmail.com for details.
Gay Hive Magazine, all the buzz.
One man and one woman join forces to rid the world
What are you doing?
of inequality and fascism.
Seriously?
I'm trying I'm trying to do a promo here.
For whom? What are you doing?
Welcome to the Othering Podcast with Mike and Dory. All right, today we are talking to Jennee Jay. Jennee Jay is a singer, songwriter, DJ, and producer who lives with type 1 diabetes, gastroparesis, and multiple sclerosis. Her struggles and her journey have made her more connected with herself. Through medical mistakes and gaslighting, she began to ask deeper questions about her health and mindset. Her upcoming album, Rise Above the Noise, is deeply personal. It's written for people who have been through hardship, trauma, illness, or loss. Welcome, Jennee Jay.
Yes,
it's great
welcome.
to have you.
Yes, thank you. It's great to be here. You know, it's a pleasure to get on the air to speak with people that actually care. You know?
Yeah,
Yes, it is nice.
it seems hard to find those lately.
It's few and far between, but I believe in the light and everybody out there. So, you know, it's just reminding everybody that we have it in us.
Exactly.
Of course. Sometimes it's hard to find it in some people. Sometimes
It
they
is.
don't want to share it, but there's definitely light in everybody.
There's some people that are still buried under a rock, though.
Well,
You know what I
yes.
mean? But we gotta give them hope. That's my
12
thing.
feet under a rock, but yes.
That's right.
So I met
so
you.
I just-
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I met you on Threads when I had put out a post asking for a jingle. And you created one for us, and we started talking from there. And that's kind of when I found out that you love music as much as you do. Is that something that you've been involved in since you were a kid and always wanted to do? Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm from Canada, as you guys know. I'm the northern partners up here, but I run pretty much from the East Coast to Ottawa. I was born and raised in New Brunswick, and when I grew up, my mom was in a rock and roll band, and we also did talent shows and stuff. So I actually started singing on stage when I was 3.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, you know, so I've always had kind of that stage presence, wanting to perform, you know, and making people light up was always my kind of thing, you know. It started off young. We would travel to and far, go to different fairs and stuff, and it really grew a spot in my life. But I really didn't get into the producing until I got a lot older. I mean, I want to start off by saying my health story.
Yes.
I've lived with type 1 diabetes since I was 10. So that kind of put a kilter in a lot of stuff.
A little
You
bit.
know, when we're younger, we don't really put into perception what that means. But
Right.
I kind of stopped singing, like not stopped, but stopped really going on stage and stuff when I was like 15, and kind of took my own journey, did life for a little bit like we do. And then I started going out to sing karaoke a lot. And that kind of got me into my space of wanting to sing again. And then the music scene here in Ottawa is wonderful. Like, I mean, there's a great electronic scene that showcases a lot of DJs, so a lot of underground music, people getting up with original talent. And so that kind of inspired me to see what I could do. One of my friends, he produced music, and we sat down one night in his little bunker, and I looked at the DAW machine, and it started glowing to me. It's like, I can do that. I couldn't play an instrument worth a damn, but I could do that.
You found what you loved.
Yeah.
I
You
did.
knew it. Yep.
And then I go back and forth between here and Ontario. Well, I'm in Ontario right now, but no New Brunswick. My dad's down there. We have a nice family. We've been into fishing our whole life. So I go down there in April and May and eel fish with Dad and stuff. And it keeps me going back and forth. With the health issues, I've been here since 99, so my doctor's here, my mom's here. And I just started to feel a little bit off, and I decided to spend more time in Ontario, which I guess you can say over the past, like, I've been diabetic since I was 10. I got diagnosed in New Brunswick. We moved here when I was 15.
Right.
Probably I was good with my diabetes until about 25, and that's when I developed the gastroparesis.
Okay.
So throughout my life, I've been hospitalized over 20 some times. You know, whether it be from DKA or my digestion is not working, so the main vagus nerve starts to screw up on you, and the next thing you know, you're not digesting your food, you're choking on what was there for breakfast, you know?
Right.
So it's been a hard lesson of what to do. I was on in 2021 17 different medications that were supposed to heal me.
Wow.
I think they were just making me sicker, you know?
Sometimes medicine does do that, where sometimes it can make you sicker, and it's the wrong dosage, or things like that.
I think it was, they were just, I had me on so much stuff that it was the wrong dosage. I quit cold turkey all my medications beside the insulin for 2 years because I'd given up on it. I thought I was getting sicker.
Was that the point where you were over medicated that you mentioned and what you wrote to us?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
It sounds like
that's
that was
where I
pretty
was.
scary.
It was pretty scary, you know. I don't know if you can say, like, there's side effects that medications can do.
Yeah.
I definitely went through them.
I get every side effect of every medication.
Well, yeah, if it's there, it's going to come visit, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, what are we bringing today?
Yep.
But, you know, illness brings a unique set of challenges,
Yes, it
really.
does.
For sure.
And, like, there's physical struggles, but there's also emotional and a social aspect to it too, you know. One thing I want to be clear is that my illness has never defined me as a person, but I've always known and always had a strong spirit to deal with it, right? But for a long time, people sometimes come to you with compassion but don't really understand what it's like to go through it, so they may project on you that no, you couldn't do that, but god damn it, I tackle whatever's put in front of me, you know.
Right.
And you kind of have to have that spirit going through a sickness, you know.
Yeah,
For
you
sure.
have to-
Because we can put what's in our body to heal us, right? I mean, I started eating differently. I started taking all the sweeteners and stuff out of my diet. I eat honey now, which as a diabetic, they're saying, what the heck are you eating honey? Well, I'm eating honey because it's got natural antibiotics in
Yes, it does.
you know, and where I have a problem with the gastroparesis, that area from my esophagus to my stomach sometimes acts up. Sometimes I get food stuck in my throat, and you know, it makes it hard to sing.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
A little bit, yeah.
I get a little froggy there, but you know,
And
I push through it.
sometimes, yeah, definitely. Sometimes you have to push through it, and sometimes it's not easy, because sometimes your disabilities will disable you, and that's sometimes I think the shocking thing about disabilities that are just they actually do disable you, and I don't think a lot of people understand that when we say we can, we know our bodies well enough to know we can, and when we say we can't, we know our bodies well enough to know we cannot.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's day to day for me. One day, because I always try to wake up in the frequency in that upper part, right? I used to go in the low part, but it's not good. So if you keep that open mindset that now I can tackle it, you'll get through it. But I've also put limitations on myself now that when the time comes that I need to take a nap or I need to sit down or I need to, maybe not eat this meal this time because it's not going to go down, I listen to the intuition in my body now. It tells me that, this is what I'm supposed to do,
And that's the key right there, is that we have to listen to our bodies, because sometimes it's hard to hear it because you just, you get into these modes where you just, I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do this. And sometimes the body is just like, wait a minute, I can't do this.
Yep.
You need to sit back. Right. You need to relax. And I think that's kind of a huge learning curve for a lot of people when they first come across, diagnosis that can limit what they can do sometimes.
I don't think it's just at first. I think it lasts years.
Well,
you still do it, Dory.
That is true. I do still do that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have troubles listening.
It's hard to adjust to a completely new life.
It's definitely, I think one of my bosses once upon a time when I worked for the garages, he told me it takes 27 days to break a habit and to create a new one. And by damn it, it makes a little bit of sense to me because, I mean, we all get set in our ways. We all eat a certain way. We all do these things. We've all been programmed to do these things, but set by society norms, It's breaking those habits and listening to our body that helps us get through the sicknesses.
Yep.
Yes.
I've had 5 PICC lines because as a diabetic, my veins are just not there. And they've had to pick my arms so many times that my veins collapse. Now you need an ultrasound to be actually going in to see them.
Wow.
So it's not the nicest thing as a diabetic. God could have gave me better veins, but we're dealing with it,
Yeah.
But in that same sense, I've had 5 PICC lines, and PICC line is a tube, almost like a catheter that goes through your sleeve down to your heart, and that delivers the medication and whatnot that you can. So the hospitals had to do that, and just from that and having the insulin, it's made my arms lose a little bit of mobility.
Right.
Yeah.
So sickness does come with things, but as long as we keep our arms moving and we don't stay in a stationary position too long, we can bring the stimulus back to those arms. Like one of my girlfriend's sister went to England and came back and learned breath work. And I swear to God, breath work has taken me through a lot of the pain with my diabetes, through a lot of the confusion, to a lot of the anxiety, to be able to know how to count or just catch my breath when I'm in an anxiety state.
Right.
Because disease grows in anxiety.
Yeah.
If we can learn to calm ourselves, we can get our body into that state where we can heal.
Right. Something you said earlier, you said when you wake up, you try to wake up at that higher frequency and in a better state of mind. As someone who has a lot of depression problems and mental health problems, I guess the easiest way of asking this is, how do you do that? What was that like when you finally figured out to do that?
I finally figured it out. Okay, so I went through I'll give you a little backstory. I was through a very deep depressive state. I was getting sick all the time. I couldn't work because I was getting sick all the time. My boss fired me. everything but the cat died,
Right.
So it was hard, and I was depressed. I was actually diagnosed with depression and PTSD, and at times I didn't want to get out of bed. But when I started looking at everything else that's happening in the world, and I started looking at frequencies that bring me up to a higher, like you can listen to frequencies at night that are meant to bring your energy and stuff up.
Right.
So I started doing things like that, and listening to myself. So I said, Jen, you've got to get a handle of things, or you're going to keep going down. And so I started counting and doing breath work in the morning to get up. I get up, I have a glass of water to start my digestive system going.
Okay.
When I get into those states, I actually try to take myself out of the trauma, and I try to look at every situation outside of it. Even if I don't understand what's put me in it, I'm trying to take myself out as a third party to see the bigger equation, because a lot of the times we get stuck in that image of ourselves that we need to portray.
Yeah.
We get stuck in our traumas that are from our past that, they make us. But no, they're the lessons that teach us who we are today and what make us stronger in the future,
Right. So do you use any medication for anxiety or depression?
So I used to, but no, I don't anymore.
Not anymore?
In Canada,
That's great.
I don't know down in the States what states have marijuana, but I am a marijuana smoker.
Okay.
And I have been since my 20s.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, I find CBD and natural things like that help me far more.
Yeah. It's not the first time we've heard that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Help me far more. And plus, when I can't eat, I smoke a doobie. And look at that, I got an appetite.
Yep.
So can't tell me the
Exactly.
shit's bad for you. I don't believe it. That's just a rumor that the big companies started so we wouldn't fend for ourselves.
Alcohol is far worse, and that's completely
Absolutely.
legal everywhere.
Absolutely. I actually don't drink.
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
I haven't, and it's not that I have a problem. It's just a personal choice that I knew with the diabetes, with everything. I just couldn't.
Yeah.
Right.
And
You know?
definitely drinking
But-
with diabetes is not the smartest thing. I
It's
knew
not.
somebody who had diabetes, and they drank a lot, and it just it exacerbated all the physical issues that can come with diabetes. And so we have to kind of not only listen to our bodies, but make sure that we're not putting in extra stuff that isn't required. Take the
That's
medicine
right.
that you need. Don't
right.
not take it just because you don't
That's
feel
right.
like it.
Like now I'm down to 8 pills.
Yeah.
And at some of those points, those were medications like for sleeping, for my depression. I was on chlorazepam. And it was actually, I'll tell you the story. I was in the hospital. I'd got a cut on my finger. And as diabetics, we get cuts, we fester. We just do. It's not good. So I went in, I got it looked at. They cut it open at the hospital. And boom, the next thing I know, I was on my way home from the emergency room. I had to be rushed back into the Heart Institute here because they had, at the hospital, I'd caught a bacteria, sepsis, had gone into my heart.
Oh.
So, okay, 17 days later, I'm still there, plastic surgery on my hand and stuff because it was their fuck up. Sorry to say. My finger looks a lot better. But
Yes, it
I will
does,
send you some pictures to show you of how bad it was. It was not pretty. And then when I got out onto the hospital floor, if you go on my Instagram page, you can see it. I have it pinned. There was a bat in my toilet.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So I actually sat down and took, used my morning bathroom, went pee, and I didn't go number 2. What the hell is that? It was a fucking bat. So, of
Wow.
course, I got my camera out and took a picture.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Yeah, an infestation of bats in the Ottawa hospital stairwell. What the fuck?
Yeah. That ain't right.
What the fuck? Isn't, I mean, I'm not a scientist or anything, but aren't bad for humans. So
Yes.
that's kind of when I went cold turkey on my medications. I'm like, these guys are making me sicker than, I need to be. And at a point, I met this lady when I went home to New Brunswick, and we called her the medicine witch in the woods. And she showed me different stuffs like mixing ginger, turmeric, and mullein, and all these natural things that we can actually just go outside and use to help us.
Right.
Now, I did recently go through some sickness, so it's not that I'm against modern medicine completely, because I'm not. Like, I went recently and they found out I had a stroke. So in that time, they saw the 2 lesions in my back. They had to do a spinal tap on me.
Oh.
And so it was interesting. I had Mom with me, but that's not even the scariest one. I'll tell you that after. There was, they put this big needle into me and did the spinal tap, so I'm still waiting for the final results. They said either I have mild multiple sclerosis or I have the coating on the outside of my nerves starting to go. So we're just trying to determine. I don't think it's a bad one yet, but maybe I can reverse it or something if I can get my sugars down and do stuff, right? But so they did that, and like since then I've had a needle in my shoulder to kind of work with the pain because I haven't had mobility. So I'm agreeing that that's working. And the pills they gave me, because my blood pressure's been off, they're working too. But there was a couple pills they gave me for my nerve pain, started making me throw up and stuff. I threw them right back at the doctor. Said they know I'm a fancy one when I go in there because I've complained enough.
That's good. You need to fight for yourself.
Yeah, you definitely have to.
You need to advocate for yourself.
For sure.
It's the other test that I've had recently, which I don't know what type of medieval contraption it is, but look, let me tell you, they took this instrument that kind of looks like a snake for a drain,
Okay.
but it's got these round little sensors on it, and they shoved it up this nostril, and they went all the way down to my stomach, and then asked me to swallow.
So you are awake through all this?
Oh, I'm awake through this. I'm
Oh.
sitting there, and the girl's like, swallow. I'm like, "Huh." And then,
Yeah.
like, we had to fast, so there shouldn't have been nothing in there. Well, I found something to throw up on her, let me tell you.
Oh, yeah.
But they're trying to find out what's going down my throat, And sometimes the solutions to finding out what's wrong aren't really the nicest, but it's necessary.
Right.
Yeah. But I'm sorry, you're going to have to knock me out for that one, though. I have such a horrible gag reflex that I can't do it. I honestly cannot do it.
I don't think I could do it, and I don't have a bad gag reflex.
I do too. Trust me, I did. It was to the point where the test came back that I didn't do very well swallowing. No wonder why. It got a cord down my throat telling me to swallow. No. So they think something's getting stuck in here when I swallow. The last food that I swallow gets stuck there. So I don't know what they think they're going to do with that. But, I mean, these are all things that happen as we grow. Like, I'm 42 years old. I've been diabetic since I was 10. I mean, for a long time, I lived my life thinking I was sick, so I'm not going to get any better. So what's the point? That was in my 20s a lot. When I hit my 30s, I'm like, no, man, I got this. We get a new live on life. And so now that I'm in my 40s, we kind of live and learn through our medications. I was on a lot of sweeteners my whole life because that's what we were told that was good for you. Meanwhile, we find out that shit eats your stomach. So maybe that's how I got the gastro. Who knows?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that can cause so many things. And because we're all so different, even though we might have the same, chromosomes and things like that, each one of us is so different, though, that it's hard to say that it's definitely going to be this type of reaction because you took aspartame versus somebody else taking aspartame. And yeah, I mean, we grew up being told that, well, you should have aspartame. It's better than natural sugar. And now, of course, they've reversed it because they realize that fake sugars like aspartame, or however you pronounce it, isn't that great. And it can cause a lot of issues. So,
Yes.
I mean, and it's kind of scary because it seems like America, at least here, loves to be the guinea pig. Like, we don't ban anything until it's proven.
Until it happens.
Yeah. And then we're like, oh, we should have banned that before. Oh, well. And, you know, a lot of other countries are like, let's ban it and then allow it once we know its efficacy and that it's safe.
I mean, that sounds interesting. That sounds right.
Yeah.
You know? Try it out, you know, do some tests on stuff first. We're not guinea pigs, you know?
Right.
And getting treated like one is just hard to fathom, you know? Because I think we're all important in this world.
We are.
We're here. We all have a purpose. We all chose to be here. You know, our life is important. And when we have things like aspartame, that when we're already sick, that we get fed to us, that are told that's good, but then oopsies, that's wrong. Well, that's a life that you're, excuse me, but fucking with.
Yeah.
No,
You
you're
know?
right.
And enough is enough. You know, if I would have known from a little girl, because when I became diabetic at 10, you know, your insulin, they say kids at that point, they're just not good enough to manage it, so they have to go on to the needle right away. So I did.
Right.
I went right onto the needle, but that also kills out the rest of your insulin. So you're going to be dependent on insulin for the rest of your life, which, you know, that does other things like the insulin. You need that insulin in your body to go in and break down the sugars for every meal. So where my body doesn't produce that at all, I have to, as a type 1 diabetic, inject it twice a day at minimum, because my body should be getting insulin and should be breaking down the energies in it. And if it doesn't, then it goes into ketosis, which is where the sugar starts breaking down in your body as fat.
Right.
And then that goes out into your kidneys. It affects your kidneys and stuff. So why type 1s always have to have insulin is because you're trying to keep that engine going.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if you look at your stomach as an engine, when you wake up as a diabetic, if you start your metabolism, even if you don't like to eat in the morning, you have a little bit of juice or yogurt, that's enough to start your digestion. So if you do that, 2 hours later, have a snack, 3 hours, don't go more than 2 or 3 hours on like eat 6 times a day as a diabetic, your body's going to reward you more. It's also going to reward you more if when you're eating as a diabetic, you take a little bit of meat, the size of your hand, and a little bit of carbohydrate, that's the size of your hand. That's the portion you should have. And then to digest that in the body without spiking your insulins, having 2 handfuls of fiber, that is how you as a diabetic don't spike your insulin too high, because you have the fiber in your body to break it down. Okay. But see, if you're just going and you're having a tuna fish sandwich with the bread and you're thinking that's good for lunch, well, it's great. You're getting your protein and stuff, but you have no vegetable in there to actually help that insulin break down the carbohydrate naturally. So if you put the fiber in there, already the insulin's got a helper.
Right.
And it's going to break it down, and it's going to not be as hard on your organs as if it would be as if you were just having peanut butter and toast or something. So have peanut butter and toast and a slice of banana with it, and that would be a lot better than just having the peanut butter and toast alone.
So how long did it take you to figure out the right diet and the right way to do it so that you were comfortable?
It's for a long time.
I would imagine. That's a huge shift. Big change.
Yeah. Big change, you know. It for the first while, probably in my 30s is when I started eating properly. You know, I mean, I didn't know the difference between, like, you learn a little bit about the carb counting and stuff at first, but not really until I
Right.
got the gastroparesis. That now I have to think about, oh, my food isn't digesting as quickly, that I really had to pick apart the digestion,
Yeah.
you
And
know, and the food portions. And it probably took about a year of me, once I got the sensor, because I have one of these Libre sensors on my arm, and
Right.
it sorry, it tells me what my sugar is all the time. So it's a better source for me to know what my sugars are. So when I eat something, I can tell, okay, it takes that much for me to digest it. I'm going to need this much insulin. So it took a lot of that, making a spreadsheet, putting down what foods work for me, actually tracking what foods did to me, because it's important, you know.
Yeah, it
You've
is.
only got one vessel. So we waste our times
Right.
doing video game stuff, and I'm not saying it's fun and all that stuff, but if you can find something enjoyable, then enjoy a little bit about your health and learn something that's going to benefit you, so you're around for more than 2 weeks, you know.
yeah.
Exactly.
And, you know, especially with diabetes, another thing that they don't really tell you is that it doesn't always have to deal with your body type either. Like,
No.
there, you can be type 1 and find out in your 20s, 30s, 40s, and not be a juvenile like they always thought. Because they used to say,
Exactly.
oh, you're born with it, you know it immediately. And it's not true. There are people who were fine, and then all of a sudden in their 20s, it fell apart.
Yeah.
And you can be skinny and get type 2. And it's just like, again, one of those things where you're told, oh, well, if you're fat, you're going to have it.
Yeah, and that's such a lie. It is the biggest lie out there.
Yep.
Because, you know, how much sugary drinks does a person drink throughout the day? I mean, I have a friend, skinny as hell, loves McDonald's 3 times a day.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm pretty bad with my diet. I have a lot of high sugar and caffeinated beverages and a lot of fast food. I'm bad.
And he's I mean, he used to be as big as a twig. I mean, like a twig actually was bigger than him for the longest time. And I look at like a little bit of lettuce, and all of a sudden I'm like, you know, bigger than I should be. And
I hear you. I hear you.
and I mean, part of it is because I have to take steroids on and off periodically for my asthma, which, you know, nobody also tells you that, hey, you're going to balloon with that.
No, they don't. They don't tell you, because it does.
It does make you balloon. And for
It
the
does
longest
make-
time, I thought there was something wrong with me. That, you know, oh, well, how come all these people can have asthma and take their medication and they're still skinny? And here I am every time I have an attack and I have to take and end up taking steroids, I gain a little bit more and then a little bit more. And those are things that they should kind of tell you.
They should, and it's just again, we come back to the thing where we're kind of like the guinea pigs. You know what?
Yep.
Until we tell them what the hell's going on with our body, they just assume everything's fine.
I mean, granted, I'd rather
Yeah.
breathe and be fat than skinny
Well,
and dead. But
You know what? More of me to love, babe. That's
Yeah.
how I look at it. You
Yeah,
know
it
what
is.
I mean?
exactly.
That's
And
how I look at it.
it also means that we get to take up space because nobody can take that from you.
That's right.
And you're harder to kidnap.
Yes, yes.
That's right. You know.
Can't
You
pick
know,
me
and
up.
I like to be harder to kidnap.
Me too.
I'm telling you. I've had a couple of weird run-ins, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's what's always so weird. It's just these little things, though, that is nice to know, that they should tell you. That, you know, maybe these aren't the best of sugars in the first place. But some people are fine with it. That's great. But you should kind of let everybody know. Of course, now they do. But, you know, at the time when they found out that aspartame can be harmful, they should have said something then and
Yes.
found an alternative. And I understand that, people need to make money because money makes the world go round, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But not at the expense of people.
Well, that's just it. When we come to it, the world right now is making money at the expense of people.
Yeah.
And that's what really needs to change.
Yep.
We need to be the voice nowadays to stand up for people and say this happened to me. That's kind of like my album that I'm doing right now. The Rise Above the Noise was rising above what everybody is saying, what everybody is projecting, and listening to your inner self and to following that guide, that light that's in us all to the right things. So like we gotta, now that we know this is all happening, we've got to look at the ingredients when we're going out there. Is this going to affect me? Probably. If it's coming in a box, hell yeah, it's going to affect you.
Right.
Yeah. And it's not to say, become a crunchy mom, as they love to put it.
No.
And there's a fine line, I think. Actually, there's a huge difference between being healthy and wanting to be healthy and being militant.
Yes.
And I believe in doing your best. And sometimes, because of whatever disease or syndrome that you have, sometimes you can't eat healthily. And that is okay.
Absolutely. Like there's some days that I get up and I can't eat anything other than Jell-O or ice cream because physically nothing's going to go down.
Right.
And that's okay.
Yes. And we
there's
got to
some
stop,
days-
blaming people for, well, it's because you're poor and it's all your fault. No, it's not. The system was designed to make sure somebody was poor. And
Exactly.
the system is designed to make sure that people stay down and, fight each other over resources that actually are aplenty for everyone on earth.
Yes.
Just take what you need, not what you need and what everybody else needs.
Exactly. You know what? We are now into I think society is now looking at everybody else's neighbor and seeing what they have, where we shouldn't be looking at it like that. We should be looking at our neighbor, being happy for what they have and seeing what we can bring to the table so we all have something better, you know? And for instance, like if you take our lawns, we do that for aesthetics. We could all grow a vegetable garden and benefit from that.
And share it. And, because some of us aren't great at green thumbs. And so the people that are can do that. And the ones that aren't, maybe we could come through and water it for you or, give each other a break and help each other.
Once the food's done, cook it because you're probably, a good cook. If you, that's where we all have different skills. And when we come together as a community, we benefit by doing that.
Right.
And the better thing is when we're all different, it makes us more unique to be able to bring something to the table that we would have never thought of ourselves in the first place.
Right.
But that's where art comes in, because sometimes everybody could do fiber arts, and then some people are just so really amazing at it that you look at it and you're just like weeping because it's so beautiful. Or you could do it in paint, or you could, whatever you like. Some people have done it with, plastic straws and created some really cool shit. Some people have done it with bottle caps. In fact, I just saw a picture of a mural, and I can't remember what country it's in, where they did a mural of, I think it was Frida Kahlo or something like that. And it was the tallest mural in the world, made out of bottle caps. Now, this person is probably insane completely at this point, because I would be, but it was gorgeous.
Yeah, I can imagine, to have the perception because an artist sees it before they put it down, so, and where does that come from? Where does that I come from? It comes from our soul.
Yes.
It comes from, each person has that inside of them to get out, you know what I mean? And when we dim our souls with, doubt or you know, we don't think we're good enough, or we limit ourselves from doing those things. So, you know, when I was going through my depression and stuff, and I've always gone out, I've always been told I'm a good singer, but I never really believe in myself enough to do it until I took the time to say, no, I'm just as good as them. I can figure this out.
Yep.
You know, my first album I did was, we'll call it experimental electronic. It's very experimental, let me tell you that. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I don't read music. I didn't. I had no idea on how to pattern a song. So what I just did is I figured out how to record on the mic and put it in, and then taught myself. And, you know, that even though that piece is kind of it, I was going through a dark time. It's kind of mysterious, and, you know, whoever's listening to it on the other side might not know the hell what I'm talking about, but there's a few people out there that do.
Yes.
Yeah.
And even if they don't understand exactly what you're saying,
it's art.
it's art.
That's sometimes the best music when you don't understand them.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was going through a crazy time at that point, and I just banged it out. And the next thing you know, I figured out how to put it out on the air, and we did that. And then I started talking to people with this group called Music Alliance, and they've kind of honed it in on me and shown me really how to develop my skills, how to function, how to put my choruses and stuff together. And so for me, that's been my therapy, to believe that I can get through it, that I can accomplish something.
Do you do it in a studio, or do you do it at home?
I have a home studio.
A home studio, nice.
Like, you're awesome.
Yeah.
That is so cool. And but it's just it is hard,
like
though.
piece by piece, you know. I bought it piece by piece. I was on disability when I bought my stuff. I bought my speakers to go out and DJ, and my DJ board, all by just collections from me going out and DJing on a beach. And I had my stuff down in New Brunswick. I went everywhere with my generator and my little thing, and then I started DJing at bars and stuff, because you know what, you got to believe in yourself before anybody else will.
Right. And
You know?
so many people that like don't necessarily have the talent for singing, and yet still get a record deal or something. And
Yeah.
I mean, if they can do it, I don't see why
Why
other
can't
people.
I?
Yeah, why can't you,
You know,
and other people?
you know, with my music, I learned how to put I had lots of lyrics. I still do. I've still got lyrics upon lyrics to get down, and I just got to find the time to get in my studio and do some more songs.
Right.
But when I did, I learned how to, and I did it for minimal cost. So anybody who has disability could do it, because I did it, you know? And I don't have exuberant amount of cash out there, because a lot of it goes into taking care of my health. And right now I'm not really working other than doing that. And like, I do have certain functions I do here and there, or I eel fish with Dad in the summer. But I've had to take time to do my health and stuff. So we can all do it.
Yeah.
You know, whatever
Yeah.
point we are in our life. And I know this AI, I wrote a song about AI. I called it The New Kid in Town Along. I was a little bit creeped out by it at the beginning, let me tell you. Okay, I didn't like AI. We weren't friends.
Yeah.
But then I said, you know what? I better learn AI before it conquers me. So then I did, and I took videos of myself, or pictures of myself, and I created music videos for the songs that I produced in this. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
That is.
So we kind of became buddies, you know. After that, I'm like, well, I might look a little bit better in this shot, but hey, it was a cheap and inexpensive way to do my music video and get my message out there. So,
Yeah.
hell yeah, I'm gonna use it.
And AI, I mean, it has its uses. It can be really, really, really good. And I think it's just another one of those tools where it depends on who's using it and how are you using it. If you're trying to use it to waste water or whatever, yeah, that's a bad idea. But if you're trying to find a way to periodically use it to enhance your art, or to help somebody with a surgery, things like that, AI can be really beautiful.
Yeah.
It's amazing. You know, when I want to count my carbs and I have no idea what the hell's in the meal I'm eating in front of me, because my friend liked to cook, and you got to eat what she put in front of you. I take a picture of that and I put it in the chat GPT thing. I say, how many carbs are in that? And boom, I know what the hell I can eat and how much insulin to have.
And that's
a great
where
way.
it's helpful. And I think it's like dynamite, where dynamite can be great if you're using it to, build tunnels or, things
it
like that.
needs supervision.
Right. I think AI is kind of like the same thing. It needs a supervisor of some sort, and responsible adults using it. But everything.
I don't know if I want an AI boyfriend or any of that. I'm not at that point, but I'll talk to him as a friend.
Yeah, exactly. Because we're all in this together, and sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Like they talk about it, how when you're protesting and things like that, how they only talk about the people who are perfectly well and able to do those marches, and they never include disabled people. No. And sometimes,
well, that's just it. It's and when we get into stuff like that, there's got to be something better than protesting, because I'm telling you, that just gets us out there in the streets and more frustrated. I've been there myself.
Yeah.
When I was going through the stuff, I went up on Parliament Hill. I've been known to run a protest or two. But then I also believe that those things can be overtaken and used for the wrong purpose.
Yeah.
So we really don't have a way for disabled people to speak up anymore and say that, this stuff is happening to us. What can we do to stop it? There's no game plan. So I get everybody wanting to be able to protest in their own certain sense. So that's why it's important to have podcasts.
Yep.
Because then voices can be heard.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And I love telling people that if you can't necessarily be out there marching, that's fine. That's not the only form of protest. No. If you can, not buy as much, that's a form of protest. Only buy what you need. Or don't go to Target, but you have to go to Walmart, that's fine. At least you don't have to go to Target. Find whatever little bit you can do, because all of it together can make a huge difference.
Well, that's just it. It might be a needle in the haystack, but we're gonna get it. We're gonna find it. You know what I mean? If it's just one person doing something, you think, it doesn't make a loud difference. But I can tell you one thing: I have protested and I have brought light to a lot of important information that people are going through of the marginalized community, and I'll never back down doing that, because I've helped people stop dumping poisons in water so that our fresh lakes aren't poisoned and our salmon feeds aren't done. I've spoke out about the hospital having bats in their hospital. I went right up and sang Christmas carols as Mrs. Claus on the Parliament buildings, telling them to check their hospitals and clean up or ship out. I've also been an advocate's voice for people that are sick and that aren't getting anywhere, and that sometimes just need somebody else to send a letter.
Yeah,
I'll send you a letter anytime. Because when you have other people outside looking in and saying, we see you, then that's when the difference happens.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, definitely.
That's when change happens. If we let these people that are getting hurt just go unseen, then we fail our society. You know what? I'm definitely a protector. I'm a healer. I know that about myself. I'm empathic. I know that there's so many people out there that are empathic, that their energy's being fed on right now, and they don't feel so empathic anymore, because it's you want to give up, but don't.
Yeah, definitely
because
don't.
When we stay empathic and true to ourselves and be that kinder soul to people, then that's what makes the world kinder,
And when you start to feel like you're getting drained a bit, step back. I've said this before, and it's a great analogy I read somewhere, where being in protests and all of that stuff is a marathon for one. And it's also like a chorus, so that when you're trying to hit that note and everybody starts off at that note, some people need to step back, take a breath, and then rejoin to let the others step back and rejoin. And you just keep taking those breaths, take a break, regroup and come back stronger.
That's right. And we've got so much division in our world right now, and we just need to stop it. We're all together fighting the same bad guys.
Right.
You know what I mean? We just gotta be nice to our neighbors, gotta be true to ourselves, gotta fight for our healthiness. So if that means making some dinner as opposed to going out for the fast food, we're helping ourselves. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's how we raise our vibration, is by treating our bodies right, putting what we want into our body, not listening to the outside noise that tells us, oh, you can't do that, because you can. You can get through anything you manifest in your mind to get through.
Yep.
And I'm a firm believer, because I've done it myself. If you would have saw me a couple years ago, oh, Jen's going to do an album. Everybody laughed. Guess what? Jen did her fucking album.
Yep.
And I think that's twofold too. I think that there are times when you can make yourself do stuff and do it. And I think there are times when you can't, depending upon what you have. Like, if you have ME, don't think that just because you can't do anything except lay in a bed that you're useless. You're not. No, you still give somebody love.
You're not. Your mind is so powerful. You manifest your love, your light, just being positive about your life matters. It truly does. And you're bringing something into the world by just being you.
Yes.
Remember, Dory, this morning you said I could only do so much, and then I had to sit down. I feel so useless.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you hear what you just said?
Yeah, fuck you. I love you, but fuck you. I was not talking about me, asshole.
Just putting that out there. We all still do it.
Yes, we do.
We all get caught in that, though, like myself. Just recently, my roommate's mom broke her leg, so we've been taking care of her. My roommate's going through hemochromatosis. She hasn't had her blood drained out of her body in a while, so we need to find a good vampire that just takes some blood from her once in a while.
Why don't they exist? I mean, come on.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah.
But it's we've all got our stuff. But if we can, and I like lists. When I put stuff on my list and I cross one of those suckers off, it's gold star time. I fucking did something, because that makes me feel like I'm accomplishing. Even if it get up, brush teeth, wash car, make myself breakfast. And sometimes when you're in those states where you feel like you're not doing anything, if you can make a list and just write the dumbest things down that you've accomplished, you'll feel great.
Yeah.
It's about matter of mind over matter,
And realizing that our worth isn't tied to how much we produce.
No, it's just us being whole and into ourselves, and accepting me for all my faults, and accepting all the lessons that I've learned, that those mistakes that other people, I'm the black sheep in the family. I'm not the one that got married at 20 and had kids and stuff. I've lived my life. I've gone out there. I've done music. I used to drive people home from bars as like an Uber driver and stuff. So I've lived the nightlight and stuff. So, stuff has been projected over me, or people have thought I'm this way or that way. And that's all nice. That's noise. Nobody knows who you are except yourself.
Right.
So prove everybody wrong, show up as your divine self, and just keep going every day. And if people judge you, then they're not for your circle. They're just a tadpole in a pond. Let them keep swimming and find your school of fish to swim along with, because there's definitely some out there.
Right. Definitely. Everybody. There's somebody to talk to. There's somebody that cares.
Always somebody.
Yep.
Heck, call me if you don't think there's nobody to care. You can always find me. I will listen, and I do. I have many people that message me on my platforms and stuff, and I talk to people around the world. Why? Because thank you for tuning into me and listening to my story and what I had to say.
Right.
You know, that makes me feel good that I can share my story. I can tell my views, maybe give a little bit of advice, you know. I'm a little eccentric, but
that's what
that's
makes
what
you
I love
you.
about myself.
Right.
Yeah, and it makes you
You know
interesting.
what I mean?
Because if
You
we
know,
didn't,
some people,
if we didn't have eccentricity, in the good way,
the life would be dull.
yeah,
Right.
it would be
It
horribly
would be
dull.
so dull.
Yeah.
It
You
would
know?
I think of it in the terms of this one episode of SpongeBob. Yes, people, I love SpongeBob. And where he's like, not normal. And they, make fun of him and he goes normal, but he's so boring. And he's like, hi, I'm normal. Nice weather we're having. Who wants that?
Not me.
No.
No, and nobody does. Nobody wants to get up and do the same mundane thing all the time.
Right.
But sometimes we get stuck into that. So we have to manifest that to change. And the only way we do is by our mindset being different and changing the outcome. Whether you can't physically do anything, your mind can. So you can promise yourself to take steps to either do some deep breathing that gets you back into realizing that you're whole, you're loved, and that you belong, and if you ever feel like you don't belong, that's a bunch of bullshit. But anyway, because you all do. We're all meant to be here, and people and situations around the world will dim our light sometimes. It's up to us to find that light and keep it burning.
Right.
Our inner light shines through everything. It can be buried under sand. It can be, buried under trauma. But as long as we can find that, like one of a good scenarios was to me once was a woman when I was going through my trauma and not feeling very worthy about myself or pretty down on myself because I've had horrible time with men. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Just I don't pick the right ones. Never have. Don't have a good theme park with that. So, but when I was pretty down, a person showed me a picture of myself as a child and said, "Now, would you let that guy hurt her?" And I said, "No, of course I wouldn't." So look at a picture of your inner child. Would you let anybody hurt them? Probably not. So stick up. Why would you let anybody hurt yourself now?
Right.
I like that.
I do too.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Protect that little baby girl. She's in you. She's in our inner child is in there.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And we just let her shine. You know what I mean? Let her shine.
And that also includes, if you want the Barbie, get the Barbie. It doesn't matter if you're 52 or 12.
Get the Barbie.
Get the damn Barbie. Get the stuffed
damn
animal.
That's right.
Because so much of life is always about this adulting and, making it boring and you got to go 9 to 5 and all. That's not what life is.
If you see my place in New Brunswick, I paint. I'm a painter as well. It's so colorful. Like nothing's adult in there. It's all kid stuff. I've got Wonder Woman this. I got Wonder Woman that. I've got a crystal ball. I've got, you name it. I got traveling wigs, 31 traveling wigs, because
Awesome.
I never know which personality is going to come out when I'm going to sing or on stage.
Right.
Yeah.
So
And that's what we
had
need
them
to
out
do.
the other night. Have that entertaining. If you look on my couch behind me, there's
Yes.
a couple of wigs over there. I had the girls over for a birthday party the other day. We were all wigging out,
And that's what we need to realize is that just because we're over the age of 18 doesn't mean that those dreams, that fun stuff that we did as a kid has to stop.
Yeah, like I wrote my first album when I was, 40? Started writing it, Was I too old? Hell no. No, I'm still young. I still got lots of life in me. You want to learn something, even if it was knitting or macrame, hell, just do it.
Right.
Exactly.
Nobody's stopping you but you.
Exactly.
Except killing people. I think a lot of other
Well,
people would stop you there, but that's the only thing.
I'm a living love life person. If people are going around killing people, we're gonna kill them. How's that?
Yes.
There you go.
You know, I'm the warrior type of thing.
I am too.
I don't like that. You know what I mean? How they're doing that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm about to get my She-Ra magic powers come out. And
Oh, I
whip some
loved
ass.
She-Ra as a kid.
Right?
I had
Me too.
I had He-Man and She-Ra, and I used to play with them all the time. And oh yes, I had a
Good
She-Ra
memories.
birthday party.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about, That's the energy I'm on.
Yes, exactly.
Unfortunately, we need to wrap it up to destroy that energy.
Well, that's
Still
okay.
good.
Thank you,
I've had a
so
great
much.
hour with you guys.
Do you want to
And,
let people know where to find your music, find you, whatever
Yes,
you want to put out there?
You can find me on Spotify, YouTube Music, any Apple Music, and Jennee Jay. It's JenneeJay, and the album is called Rise Above the Noise. And I would love you guys to listen because it's about inspiring the power within you. I've got one called Mirror Baby. It's about the light inside of you, and just when people talk over you and down on you, you're in control. Don't let them be.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for talking with
thank
us.
No,
It's
you're
been
welcome. It
awesome.
was great.
Been wonderful.
It's been an awesome hour.
Thank you.
And keep in touch. You
Definitely
guys are
will.
doing something great here in the world, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
Thank you.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Othering Podcast by Mike and Dory. Please like and follow us on all of your favorite social media.
The Othering Podcast is produced by LoudCore Productions, graphics by Josh, and music by Jordy James.